The United States is working to maintain its lead in AI as cheaper open-source AI models from Beijing are challenging America's dominance. Experts warn the battle is not just about building the most advanced model, it's about who can deploy the technology fastest across the economy, military, defense, and other critical industries. Maria spoke with Palantir Chief Technology Officer Sham Sankor. Watch.
Tell us about the AI race between the U.S. and China and how you see the backdrop.
I think that we have, collectively, we've put too much emphasis on the model itself. The race that we're really in is a race to realize economic value from these models. The diffusion of AI into our economy, to underwrite American prosperity, to underwrite reindustrialization, as I like to say, to give the American worker superpowers.
Joining me now is Gatestone Institute Senior Fellow Gordon Chang. Gordon, so those that say that we should use these open source models that are coming from China is that we take the technology, we integrate it into our products here. Your thoughts?
Well, yes, that would be great. And the Chinese are trying to do it. But Chinese investors are not impressed with what China is doing, because last month we saw them fled the tech sector despite all of these great announcements from Beijing. So, for instance, on July 16th, you had Moonshot AI's Kimi K3 model released, and then you had the challenge to ASML, with China announcing it had a machine as well. But the tech investors know that China can't do this. It can come up with some big advances, but can it deploy? Probably not as well as the United States. And remember, the United States has this enormous lead on data centers. The Stanford Index said that in June, we had 5,427 data centers, and China had 449.
Okay, well, but certainly that's good that the United States is leading on that. But China certainly is putting any regulatory concerns aside when they're building out their data centers. We've seen that. They don't, they really care about how it hits the environment. China is also using its control over critical resources and global supply chains as a major source of leverage against the U.S. and its allies. And, American companies are now competing directly with China for billions of dollars in African data center deals. This challenging Beijing's years-long push to dominate tech infrastructure across that continent. And China is also signaling it's not going to back down from its state-led economic model ahead of upcoming trade talks with the U.S. and Europe, Gordon. How should the U.S. view this push by Beijing to continue to grow its economic and geopolitical reach?
Well, we know that the Chinese economy right now is in distress. They reported 4.3% growth in Q2. But nobody really believes that. People are thinking it's like 1%, and you can even make the case for 0 or -1. So China doesn't have that ability right now, and that gives President Trump enormous leverage in conversations with China on these things, and we should be deploying it. Yes, China has important advantages, pharmaceuticals and rare earths. But we've got more cards, especially because the Chinese economy right now is totally export dependent, which means it needs access to the U.S. market because we account for something like 34% of global consumer spending. So, yes, let's use the leverage that we have on China.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's important to point out that the Belt and Road Initiative that spending has already occurred from China. I see your point about the economy weak now, but this is their long-term plan, and that's world dominance. And I know that Africa has been a key target for China. And there is this new report now I want to ask you about that details how China is tracking and gathering data on foreign individuals. This really puts a spotlight on how Beijing uses this as a tool against the U.S. And this is also fueling a push in Washington to restrict Chinese connected technology. And the big story here is the vehicles. People are warning that, any Chinese tech or Chinese car is just a mobile, data collection tool, basically. Maria actually talked to Ohio Senator Bernie Moreno about this. Here's what he said earlier this year about this issue.
These cars have lots of cameras. They send back data to the Communist Party and can be remotely controlled by the Communist Party. Could you imagine letting those vehicles into the U.S.?
There is anywhere, from half a dozen to a dozen cameras on these cars. So whatever's on those cameras is sent back to the CCP?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can imagine somebody working at an Air Force base. They drive in. These things are surveilling the Air Force base. They also know who's driving the vehicle, their habits, where they go, where they come from. We would never allow Americans to purchase surveillance devices from the Communist Party of China.
So if we were to have a conflict with China at any point, are you saying that the Chinese Communist Party could control those cars and have them go crashing into things all day long?
These are connected vehicles, so they could actually take over the driving of the vehicle, lock the doors, roll up the windows, and crash the vehicle into sensitive sites. This is the technology that exists in these Chinese cars. We're just not going to let that into our market.
And China's influence campaign also extending to Hollywood. Critics say that these studios have adjusted their content, their business decisions, because they still want to get access to China. Gordon, your thoughts on these threats?
Yeah, the big issue here is going to be Canada, because Canada has dropped the tariff from 100% to like 6% on 49,000 vehicles this year. And the issue is, are we going to allow those Chinese EVs that are in Canada to roll into the United States? So far, the Trump administration has said yes, but I think the answer should be no, for the reasons that Senator Moreno said. We should not allow those Chinese vehicles into our country. We're going to have the same issue with Mexico, because China is going to be making their cars there and trying to drive them into the United States. Fortunately, the Biden administration and the Trump administrations are working to have worked to prevent connected vehicles from our roads. But we need to take the executive order from the Biden era and turn it into legislation in the Trump era. And that, I think, is a #1 priority of Congress right now.
All of this as the president is expected to host Xi Jinping next month here in this country. So there's going to be a lot at stake there. We're going to have your voice during all of it. Gordon Chang, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Cheryl.